Top? Okay.
We are 1 week away from the start of the 2019 boys basketball CCS playoffs. Tonight, we bring you two teams from the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League El Camino Division. One team fighting to stay atop the leaderboard and gain a long overdue share of the SCVL title. The other looking to play spoiler and prevent any celebrations from happening on their home court. Good evening, everybody. I'm Carlo Jimenez alongside Spencer McLaughlin, coming to you live from the campus of Santa Clara High School. SCVAL El Camino Division action as the 4-6 Bruins host the 9-1 Milpitas Trojans right here on YouTube Live and the Central Coast Sports Broadcasting Network. For the Bruins head coach, Tony McLivery, this is a young team with 3 sophomores, 1 freshman. Spencer, they have their share of peaks and valleys this season, but a home win tonight against a high-caliber Trojan squad is just the kind of confidence they need to carry into next year.
Yeah, absolutely, and peaks and valleys are something to expect when you have so many young players in your rotation throughout the course of a season. But when you have those ups and downs, and Santa Clara definitely not having the season go the way they maybe envisioned when it started, but to finish the year or kind of at least have this in your mindset, a big win like this over what on paper is a superior squad in Milpitas, it can be big for the confidence, the momentum that this team carries over into their next season and the young guys, so they're going to remember it.
And for the visiting Milpitas Trojans themselves in the promised land this season, a share of first place in the El Camino Division, right where you want to be with 1 week to go. Spencer, what a turnaround for head coach Champ Retcher and his squad, known for their success on the football field. But these Milpitas Trojans are now on the cusp of raising a championship banner in hoops as well.
Yeah, it has been quite a turnaround for this Milpitas team. 3-9, 4-8, and 2-10 were their last 3 seasons coming into this year, and now they are first place in the SCVA last year that went 2-10 in league play. And for them to turn around and then go, been very beneficial for them.
And this is the second meeting between both teams. Milpitas handled Santa Clara on their home court 3 weeks ago, 55-40. The Bruins look to jump out early on the Trojans, try to keep this game close. Alongside Spencer McLaughlin, I'm Carlo Jimenez. This is a Central Coast Sports Broadcasting production of Game Night, coming to you on YouTube Live. Tip-off is less than 6 minutes away. Well, here's some recent scores from both teams. Santa Clara defeating Monte Vista 42-35, their lowest scoring win of the season, Spencer. And Milpitas defeating Saratoga 62-57. We want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BSN Sports. Since 1972, your ultimate leader of team sports apparel and equipment in the U.S. Call John Gillette for more information at 408-209-6433.
Let's jump into our Gonzalez Irrigation game-changing three-pointers. Since 1985, let Gonzalez Irrigation Systems provide design, installation, parts, and service for all your berry, row, crop, orchard, and vineyard needs, including sprinklers, filters, meters, and booster pumps. And GIS proudly offers Netafim irrigation products. Contact GIS at 831-675-2376. That's 831-675-2376. 7-6.
Well, for Santa Clara, 4th place in the SCVAL El Camino Division. Up and down season, 4-game win streak to start the year, 4-game losing streak to start league play. How does David knock off Goliath tonight if you're Santa Clara?
Well, we've been talking about the young guys for the Santa Clara squad, and obviously they're going to be a focal point for Santa Clara and head coach McGilvery tonight, so they're going to have to be solid, and I look for how they're going to play early on in the game. They know that they're the David in this matchup coming in against the first place in the SCVAL Milpitas Trojans, so that can be a tough hurdle mentally for young guys to get over and to play their way, but they can't let it bother them, can't let it affect them, and they have to just come out and play their game. But if it is getting to them and it is kind of, a little bit too much, then we'll be able to see it early on with some sloppy play, but we'll see if the young guys for Santa Clara are able to avoid that tonight.
And for Milpitas, 9-1 as we mentioned within El Camino, tied for first place with Wilcox, although it will be a share because neither team will play each other one more time. If the Trojans run the table, though, they get that share of the SCVAL. How big is that turnaround here for this Milpitas team?
I mean, it's big for the overall momentum of the program. not only for this year, but for future years as well. Oftentimes, not too often, but in high school, sometimes what you can see is when good players finally do arrive to a struggling high school program, if they don't think that the team is very good or of a high caliber, sometimes kids will transfer to increase either their ability to win in the state or to increase their prospects of playing at the next level. So I think after 3 down years for Milpitas to come in and be running the table like this almost completely at 9-1 is huge for their team, not only this year, but for future years as well.
And finally, our third game-changing three-pointer. Head-to-head note, 3 weeks ago, Milpitas defeating Santa Clara at home 55-40. Big week for Milpitas, defeating co-leader Wilcox on Monday and second place Saratoga on Wednesday. 2 big wins. Is there a chance they overlook the Bruins here tonight?
I mean, it's always possible anytime you have these matchups where on paper one team is clearly better than the other. I mean, that's why they call it an upset, because it's not supposed to happen, and it's not something that anyone really expects is going to happen. But really what happens in those types of games when a superior team allows an inferior one to hang with it or even knock it off, it's sloppy play early. It's, not doing the little things, not making hustle plays, not being detail-oriented, just trying to coast to a victory and get in and get out. And then usually on the other side, for the team trying to pull the upset, which is Santa Clara tonight, they do all of those little things well. They make the extra plays. Santa Clara is at home, so they will have their home court advantage, and they're going to need that here tonight. That was our game-changing three-pointers, brought to you by Gonzales Irrigation, serving the Monterey, San Benito, Santa Cruz, and Santa Clara counties. Contact them at 831-675-2376.
Well, time now for our X's and O's. Since 1988, Coastal Grower Magazine has been a local favorite for the people of the agricultural industry and those involved with the AG business here on the Central Coast. www.centralcoastgrowermag.com. Well, Santa Clara, strategy-wise, slow the game down and control the clock on offense
when they actually do have the ball, because they feel that added pressure of, we have to make the most out of this possession. We have to get a good shot. Then guys tense up just a little bit, and they're not loose. They're not playing freely and within the offense, and they're maybe forcing shots here and there, but mostly they just feel that pressure because they know that the other side is going to hold the ball for so long. So I think that's definitely the way Santa Clara wants to come out and attack this Milpitas defense, is utilize the shot clock, get good shots, and stay within the offense and try to limit the number of possessions that Milpitas can get.
And for Milpitas, defensively, you got a young team out here. We're looking at Milpitas' senior night that we have going on, or Santa Clara's senior night we have going on. They have 2 seniors on the team, Irnez Sarvin, who is his first year playing organized basketball, so a senior in school, a freshman in basketball, and then Sheena Sargent is the other senior, the really true senior, the captain on this team. So a young team and Milpitas, you want to pressure the young team, make them flustered, and that's how you're going to win this game.
Yeah, it is. If you're Milpitas, that's definitely how you want to have your defensive approach, because like you said, young guys just don't have the experience, and it's easy for them to get flustered. And it's senior night as well, so that can only add to the overall aura of this game. And so the young guys on Santa Clara are going to be crucial tonight, because I think if Milpitas is smart, they will come out with a very high-intense, high-pressure defensive strategy in order to kind of get them out of any kind of rhythm and make them work just to get the ball across the timeline, and we'll see if they're able to execute that defensive strategy tonight. That's our X's and O's segment, sponsored by Coastal Grower Magazine. Want to give a shout out to another sponsor, Vulcan Materials, the nation's largest producer of gravel, sand, and crushed stone to keep up with this growing economy. For more information, go to www.vulcanmaterials.com.
Well, we want to give time for our Netafim irrigation starting lineups as we get the seniors announced here, offering best-in-class irrigation solutions. Help you do more with water. That's Netafim Drip Irrigation. Contact Mark Clifton at 831-258-8089. That's 831-258-8089. Well, for Milpitas, it will be Shivan Saria, Justin Barnechea, Eugene Laya, and Aaron Tumblr, and Trayvon Myers. Those 5 guys will start. I think the big name to look out, Justin Barnechea, leading scorer on this team, second leading rebounder, and second in assists, a guy who really does it all for Milpitas.
And when you have an all-around player like that, sometimes you can become almost too reliant on him, but definitely going to be a big player for Milpitas tonight. Like you said, does a little bit of everything, so we'll see if he's able to incorporate all those aspects of his game here tonight. You know, he likes to score the ball, but he also likes to rebound, maybe get out and push a little bit, but he also is a solid assist player, so we'll see how he's able to manage all of his skill sets here tonight on the road.
And for the Santa Clara Bruins, it will be senior Sheena Sargent who gets it applause. Fridge Ramos, the sophomore guard, will start. Irnez Sarvan, the other senior, will start. Josh Bayog will start, the only freshman on this team, and a freshman starter nonetheless, Spencer. And Nathan Burns, interesting player. Burns did not start against the Milpitas last time. He's their leading rebounder and scorer. We'll see if that changes things here in round number 2.
Yeah, and head coach Tony McGilvery told us pregame that Burns was going to be a crucial player tonight because of his ability to rebound. He said if they don't rebound tonight, Santa Clara, then they will not have a chance. And it kind of goes back to something we were talking about earlier, limiting possessions for the other side. That includes boxing out and securing defensive rebounds, because if Milpitas is able to get offensive rebounds, it not only takes possessions away from Santa Clara offensively, but it also psychologically can just, when you allow an offensive rebound, now you have to defend for another 30-plus seconds in order to try to get the ball back. And then Milpitas.
Our Central Coast Sports pregame show, about 3 minutes and 24 seconds to tip off. We did have senior night festivities pregame, so tip-off push back. It is now 8:01 here as we get set at Santa Clara High School. Pretty packed house for the Bruins, and it should be a good one here tonight. Spencer, any final thoughts before we get set for this SCVL action?
Well, you mentioned him in the starting lineups. Josh Bayog, the freshman, for head coach Tony McGilvery and the Santa Clara Bruins. 5'9" freshman, right? So he's obviously, you know, one of the guys who's going to be handling the ball a lot. But that is a big responsibility, not only to be a freshman, but only 5'9". And let's be real, high school lineups tend to be generous by an inch or two in terms of how tall the players are. And, you know, we in our X's and O's segment, we talked about the defensive intensity for Milpitas and how important that can be and how they could force this young Santa Clara team into a lot of turnovers. Bayog is a guy who, you know, if he's going to be the point guard tonight and the primary ball handler, he's the one who has to set the tone. He has to set the tempo for his team and show an ability to be composed against any kind of pressure or any kind of high-intensity defense that they might see from Milpitas on the other side. And that's a lot easier said than done as a freshman in front of, like you said, what is a good home crowd on senior night against the #1 team in the SCVAL. So we'll see if Josh Bayog is up to the test tonight.
Yeah, and it's a great crowd, I think, for big momentum swings, which should help the Bruins. When you look out there, you got the 6'7" Sarvan, definitely a guy who can get up there and dunk, and 6'5" Nathan Burns. Those guys get out in transition with Nobi ahead of him. Look for this place to have its top blown off. Yeah, and Burns, a guy who didn't play the last time these two teams met. He's actually in front of us right now. You can see he's not only tall at about 6'5", which, again, might be slightly generous. He's maybe 6'3", 6'4". Not that it really matters, because you can see he's got a good athletic build and definitely is someone who can get high above the rim and create those momentum-shattering plays. We were in here a little bit earlier for the girls' game, and this ceiling is very, very low. Every time that band plays or those fans cheer, that sound echoes really, really quickly. So you hit on it. Those kind of dunks or fast plays in transition can be momentum, game-shifting plays, and we'll see if Burns, in his return against Milpitas, is able to get it done here tonight for the home crowd. Well, as the starters come out here, Coach Champ Rencher's message to his team, do your job, as we are behind their bench. So it should be a good one here tonight. Milpitas against Santa Clara. Always great to be back for more high school basketball. Next week we'll have Spencer will be on the call for Mitty versus Bellarmine.
Yes, I will.
On the 12th, and then we have some CCS playoff games.
Absolutely.
The week after. So great things happening here at Central Coast Sports Broadcasting.
And one of them will be at my my home institution, Santa Clara University, on I think it's Friday the 22nd. There's a game there at,
Do not miss
8 p.m.
that one.
I will be on the call where I am accustomed to calling games at Santa Clara University, but a couple high school teams on the court. It should be a good time.
So the jump will be between Sarvon and Myers. Myers lifted at 6'5", Sarvon listed at 6'7", but they're the same height, so we're going to go with 6'5". Here is the tip. Myers does not get it, and it's a win there for Bayard. The right side, here is Ramos. He's going to bounce it. Backdoor pass for Burns on the right block, and an easy two. Great opening possession there for the Bruins.
An excellent action there by Burns, setting the back screen, then rolling straight to the basket on the baseline and finding the opening. It's a good start here for Santa Clara.
Here is Barnechea, and an easy two from the left block. Again, Justin Barnechea averaging 12 points a game with that deuce. Ties us up at 2 with 7:30 to play here in the first.
Yeah, just found a little opening there and a great job of knocking down the shot.
Bayog gives it to Sarvons. He'll drive baseline and go up with the right hand off glass.
And I got to give credit to Eugene Laya here for Milpitas. Tried to take the charge. Looked like he might have gotten it because Sarvon ran him down and he was well set, but did not get the call.
Here's up top. It's Tumblers. Gives it into the corner. Leia, 3-ball, buries it. Eugene Leia from the right corner with a triple, and it's 4-5. The Trojans on top. Minute gone by here in the first quarter.
And not phased at all by the no call, just coming right back at the other end, knocking down a triple. That's great composure from the senior.
Bayog, the freshman, gives it up top to Burns, right back to Bayog. He has it in between the rings. Left-hand dribble at the waist, now switches to the right. Bounce pass to Burns, straight on. 19 to shoot here for the Bruins. Handoff to the senior Sargent. Sargent will go down to Burns, down the right block. Burns faces, rips through, works against Myers, pump fakes, and tries to go outside to Ramos. It goes right by Ramos. Leia catches up to it and gets fouled on the layup.
And
but Eugene Leia with a burst of speed down the court.
God, you hit on it. Leia just burst straight out. Bayog looked like he was going to go run it down, just take the over and back, but Leia looked like he was shot out of a cannon, just exploded by the freshman and chased down that ball to draw the foul. That is a great hustle play.
Leia back rims the first free throw. Eugene Leia shooting 55% from the field this season, averaging 2 steals a game. A guy who might not show up as the MVP of the game, but will definitely give you great minutes as a starter. He hits one of the free throws, and it's a 6-4 lead with 6:20 to play here in the opening quarter. Here comes Santa Clara left to right. Here is Bayog driving down the right alley, layup off glass, and it drops home. Just a good move by the freshman, seeing the opening in the defense and getting a deuce.
And going the other way off the screen that came from Burns, but Bayog doing a great job reading the defense and taking what was there.
Barnechea will fire from the free throw line, short, and Burns comes up with a rebound. So Bayog, the freshman point guard, will walk it across the timeline. Chance for Santa Clara to regain the lead. He goes off a screen from his left, now right, looking for somewhere to go, hands it off to Sargent. Sargent right wing, up top to Sarvon as he swings it left side. Bayog to the cutting, Sarvon, and finishes at the left block. Ernest Sarvon with 4, and it's an 8-6 lead with 5:30 to play in the first.
Great give and go action there from Sarvon and Jayog. Both, or one freshman and one senior working in tandem right there.
It's a 2-3 zone for the Bruins as Tumblers has it up top. Tumbler with the left-hand dribble. They put Barnechea at the free throw line, then kind of rotate everybody else around. Here's a shot coming from Saria, and he'll bury it from 18 on the right wing and knot us up at 8.
And Santa Clara in that 2-3 zone is leaving that middle area very exposed. They don't want to give up layups or threes, but apparently very willing comparatively to give up the mid-range jumper.
Sarvon to Burns down low. Floater from the right blocks an air ball, but Bayog will come up with it. He'll give it down to Sarvon. Sarvon double clutch layup in the lane. Too strong off glass. Rebound will go out to Saria. Left wing working against Ramos. Gives it over to Leia. Straight on Barnechea. 4:30 to play. Tied at 8 here in the first quarter. Milpitas with a win tonight would stay on top of the SCVAL El Camino division, and the Bruins trying to force an upset. Here is Saria, gives it to Leia. Thought about a three, back to Saria. He'll fire, the best three-point shooter on the team. Cannot connect on his first attempt, and Sarvan with a big-time board.
And so far, Santa Clara doing a great job on the glass. That's what head coach Tony McGilvery stressed to us in the pregame.
Burns gives it to the cutting Sargent on the right block. Pump fakes, and goes up and gets two. So almost all the seniors have scored already. It's been pretty even, and it's a 10-8 lead halfway through the first for the Bruins.
And great patience once he got the ball right there by Sargent to just wait for the defense to go by and go up at the right moment.
Here is Saria driving baseline, gets around Sarvin and finishes with the right hand on the block. Just too quick for the big man, and it's a 10-10 lead. 10-10 ball game, nobody with the lead. Bruins looking to take it. Burns down low in the middle of a couple yellow jerseys. Putback isn't there. Second shot opportunity is blocked away by Myers, and here comes Tumbler looking to push. Tumbler down the right alley, jumps into Bayog, loses it out of bounds, and it will be Trojan basketball underneath with 3:23 to play in the first.
And at the other end, Sarvan and Burns for Santa Clara doing a great job on the offensive glass, but better anticipation by Myers as Burns came down with that offensive rebound. Burns, one of the best scorers on this team. He's been held in check thus far.
Here's a inbound pass, and they catch Santa Clara sleeping. The checked-in Lee Ridley with an easy deuce, and it is a 12-10 lead here for the Trojans. 3 minutes to play in the first quarter.
And Santa Clara, just a breakdown defensively, too easy to allow Ridley to cut right down the center of that zone. Burns got cleared out, and no one came to fill his slot.
Here's Sargent, hop step in the lane, goes up, and is.
I thought you were about to make an and one call, but I think it was an inadvertent whistle. It looks like the officials are discussing it now at midcourt. I think they should give Santa Clara the basket. The whistle came right as he was shooting. There was Sargent on the bucket, but I don't think it really impacted the play other than a little bit of confusion after it went in. But defensively right now for Santa Clara, I look to see if they make any type of adjustment to bring their zone out further. Right now, Milpitas is able to get pretty deep and able to do a great job of finding openings in the middle and on the baseline, but that's because they have so much room to operate up top and at the free throw line. So we'll see if Coach McGilvery makes an adjustment for the Bruins.
So Giovanni Toledo has checked in the game for the Bruins, making the 2 point guards out there, a freshman and a sophomore, standing at 5'5" and 5'9" for Santa Clara. So they're going small as Barnechea has it up top. Barnechea has it at the free throw line now. Will fire and knock down the easy jumper. His second one from mid-range, and it looks like the Bruins are giving him that one, Spencer.
Yeah, and Barnechea just got by Toledo way too easily, and there's just too much space in the middle of that zone to operate.
Here is Sarvan in the paint. Floater from 10 and a nice ball movement. They move it around the horn, back inside to Sarvan, and an easy deuce ties us at 14 with 2 minutes to play in the first.
Yeah, one of the best ways to beat a zone is quick, rapid ball movement.
Here is underneath. Fall-away jumper Ridley from the right block, and he puts it home. So 16-14, the Ridley with 4 quick points off the bench, and it is a 2 point lead for the Trojans.
And right at the other end, Milpitas doing the same thing, whipping the ball around the perimeter. Someone cuts on the backside, and they find the opening. It's a great job, both ends.
3 straight on. Toledo off the front rim. Right there is Sarvan. Couldn't put it in. Second shot opportunity. Does not drop home, and Milpitas will push. So a good look, great looks there for Santa Clara, just unable to grab a bucket. Here's down low. Another one for Ridley. This one doesn't drop home, and a rebound taken by Bayog. Bayog crosses over down the lane in transition. Layup, and he traveled. Just trying to do a little too much there is the freshman. Maybe want to slow that one up. And with 1:29 to play in a 2 point lead, Milpitas will come right to left.
And Bayog right there, excuse me, looked like he was going to have a lane there for a second in transition, but he was trying to come 2-on-3 and do it himself, going 1-on-3. Right there, he needed to realize that they didn't have numbers, and he just needed to pull that ball back out.
In the corner, Barnechea gives it over to Ridley from 15. Right block layup isn't there. Falls to Barnechea. Too strong on his putback. Sarvan's fighting for it. It goes out of bounds, and it will be Milpitas basketball with a fresh 34. And we talked to Coach McGlivery pregame. He said, if we don't rebound, we don't win. And right now, the Bruins got a rebound on the defensive end. Saria, right, left corner three, and he buries it. You're just waiting on that one. A 60% free three-point shooter, and he makes it 19-14 just under a minute to play here in the opening quarter.
And that's what happens when you give a good team like Milpitas extra possessions. They're going to make you pay.
Here's Sarvan's left block in between the rings. Toledo thought about a three, gives it to Sargent. Inside right block, back to Sarvan's. Pump fakes, pivots, and finds Sargent right block. Right wing, 14 to shoot. Now down to 10. They give it to Sarvins. He'll try from 14. Too strong. Rebound. Sargent pump fakes and goes up from the left block. Right hand finish for Sheena Sargent.
And Santa Clara on the offensive glass doing a great job. They've had several buckets from there, and that's big for their success tonight.
As falling down there is Saria, driving down the right alley. And one of the Santa Clara guards got their hand caught in the cookie jar. 17.9 to play here in the first, 16-19. A quick first quarter it's been, with only 2 fouls called so far.
And I think it was a hand in the cookie jar and also a foot on the foot as Sharia went down there. But I think that they gave the foul to Toledo, the sophomore, for Santa Clara.
So Barnechea will throw one way back to Saria, who takes it up top. 15 to play here in the first. Looking to extend the three-point lead is Milpitas. Right wing, Barnechea's got it, flings it left wing. Saria will try, nothing but nylon. 22-16, here is Toledo. He'll let the clock run out to end the first, and it's a 6-point lead after one. As we catch you up on some reads here. Shout out to Arnie von Massenhausen of Home Service Lending's first-time home buyer or looking to refinance your current mortgage. Work with an experienced mortgage consultant to find a solution that best fits your need. Call Arnie today at 408-858-4906 and MLS 280979.
San Jose's Hot Country 95.3 KRTY. For the best in today's country music, sports, contents, and fantastic concert series, KRTY has it all for you. Coming February 7th, live at Club Rodeo, country artist Russell Dickerson. That actually passed. And on March 28th, live from the City National Civic in San Jose. That one has not yet passed. Brett Young will be there at the City National Civic in San Jose. For ticket information, go to the website krty.com. Also, big shout out to our friend Kevin Moore, friend of the Central Coast Sports Broadcasting and making a difference in our community. Central Coast Sports is your source for high athletics all year long. Follow us as we take you right into the 2019 CCS playoffs. We would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Drop us a line, ccsblive@gmail.com. You can also go to our website for info, centralcoastsports.live, and follow us on Facebook, Central Coast Sports Broadcasting.
Well, Shivam Saria, 10 points in that first quarter. I think all 10 coming toward the later half. Spencer, he played a big role for Milpitas, and that is the reason they lead by 6 here to start the second.
Yeah, he did, but at the end of the quarter there, Giovanni Toledo, the sophomore for Santa Clara, who's checked out of the game now, made 2 mistakes back-to-back. He got well out of position in the zone and then didn't recognize the clock.
Saria, a layup and another one. Give him 12, just off a screen coming over the top, and an easy deuce.
And Tony McGilvery is screaming at his defense right now because it's just coming too easily as Milpitas defensively is going into a 1-3-1 themselves.
Up top, Bayog has it. Crosses over to the left hand, drifts left side, and trying to find Sargent, almost stolen by Leia. Leia, of course, we mentioned with those 2.5 steals per game, always has his hands in the passing lane, and now will be side out of bounds inbound for Santa Clara, 18 to shoot, down 6. They move it into the backcourt to Ramos. Ramos will walk it across the timeline and give it over to Bayog. Bayog, right wing, 2-3 zone here for Milpitas. Corner 3 for Ramos. Air ball too long, and rebound Leia. Leia pushes, finding the Cuddy Ridley. Left-hand layup off glass and scoops it home.
And just good push in the transition there. Great job running the floor by Lee Ridley for Milpitas as their lead is now up to 10.
Down low, they go to Sarvon, and Sarvon is fouled for Santa Clara. So interesting, they weren't originally a 2-3 zone here, Spencer, but it looks like the Bruins or the Trojans have switched to a 2-1-2 zone to kind of disrupt Sarvon and Burns from catching anything inside the paint.
Well, I think they're actually in a 1-3-1. It can be hard to tell sometimes because of how they shift around on the court when the ball moves. But Milpitas looks like they're in a 1-3-1 right now. The key to that is attacking the corners like Ramos did on that last possession. Now, he did airball the shot, but that is where you want to go to attack this 1-3-1 defense.
Here's Tumbler. He'll drive right after the 2 missed free throws from Sarvon. Into the corner, Leia drives down, handoff to Ridley, and it goes out of bounds. Ridley wasn't ready for it, but a pretty pass by Leia as he is told to keep it simple from the bench. I think that's the smart thing to do. Up 10 here with 6:48 to play if you're Milpitas.
And if you're Santa Clara, Ernest Sarvon right now is your MVP. On the glass and offensively, he has been the guy of making the most impact at both ends.
Up pass to Burns on the left block, and he just goes up and gets a bucket himself. Nathan Burns was pointing up for that pass, finally got it, and made it a 8-point lead for Milpitas.
Yeah, he just had position down low, and it was a great pass from Sargent down low to lob it past the defense.
Sorry has it left block, lost the ball. Now will fire after his defender fell down. Could not drop it home if it ricochets off the side of the iron. And the ball will fall out of bounds once again. Santa Clara unable to rebound defensively. You mentioned how well they do on the offensive glass, but it seems like down on the defensive glass is where they've struggled.
Yeah, and you got to credit Milpitas there for that as well. They've done a great job of not allowing themselves to get boxed out.
Here is Ridley inside, up with the left hand, doesn't drop home, but right there to clean it up is Tumbler. 28-18, 10-point lead here with 6 minutes to play in quarter number 2.
And Tumbler just right place, right time right there. The ball just came to him.
In the corner to Sargent, playing here on his senior night. Sargent will give it back to Ramos once again.
By Lee Ridley, and now Santa Clara going to go to a little bit of full court pressure.
Here is Barnechea. Had 4 points in that fourth quarter when Santa Clara was playing 2-3. They have since switched out to man-to-man defense. Barnechea gives it over to Leia. Leia looking for somewhere to go, trying to go inside to Ridley, and Sarvon read it the whole way. He'll take the steal as Bayog brings it up with 5:28 to play. Santa Clara down 10, looking to trim the lead.
And Sarvon looking like a defensive back in football there, just breaking on the ball right as the pass came in.
Burns inside, leans into Laylau. Layup is too strong, and a rebound taken by Milpitas. Here comes Tumbler on the break, handoff Leia, and right block glass layup drops home. Eugene Leia with 6 points, and it's a 30-18 lead. The Trojans dominating quarter number 2.
And they've done a great job of getting out and running on the fast break immediately after they get a defensive rebound.
Here is Bayog trying to go down low to Burns. Hit the backboard on the lob pass as Leia tried to save it from going out of bounds, but taking it is Sargent as he goes right down the left alley, and it finishes off the glass for 2, 20-30, 10-point lead for Milpitas. Milpitas moving left to right. They find Laylau left wing. He looks at the rim now, gives it over to Tumbler. Tumbler catches at the free throw line, takes a couple dribbles middle, hands off to Leia. His layup is too strong, tips out the rebound to Barnechea, who finishes with the layup from 15.
And once again, that's at least the third second chance bucket of this quarter for Milpitas. Santa Clara's got to clamp down.
Another lob pass by Bayog is tapped away by Milpitas as Sargent gets it back up top. Bayog in between the rings to Sargent, fling it inside. Burns takes the dribble and one. Burns, I think that's what you got to do. Right, catch, turn, shoot right away with the right hand from 10, and he earns himself a trip to the free throw line to try to complete the three-point play.
And it's a great adjustment from Nathan Burns because before he'd been sealing Lee Ridley from behind and trying to get that lob pass after it worked the first time, but after 2 consecutive unsuccessful attempts, he just fronts him, gets the ball, and like you said, goes up quickly right before that zone could collapse, but he apparently waited long enough to get a foul.
As Barnechea takes a step inside, that's going to be an easy line violation call.
Yeah, that was pretty blatant. He was there very early.
Trying to step in. And so after the missed free throw, it'll be one more for Nathan Burns, who has 6 on the night, looking to make it 7 and a 9-point ball game with this one. And he does. So 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 2 as Milpitas will bring it up. Here is Tumbler, crosses the timeline. 32-23 lead for the Trojans. Tumber gives it over to Leia. Down low, Meyer. Meyer turns and faces from 10, left elbow. The handoff to Barnechea. Another mid-range jumper and rolls in and out. And a rebound taken there by Burns as here comes Sargent to push. Right corner. Here's a 3-ball coming from Nguyen, and he buries it. Alex Nguyen checks into the game, and the 5'8 junior knocks down a 3. 26-32, 3:20 to play here in the first half.
And it's a big shot there for Santa Clara because they'd really been struggling from beyond the arc. They were 0 for their previous 4 before that shot. So, hopefully if you're Tom McGilvery, head coach of Santa Clara, that gets them going.
Barnechea here, near block extended. Is going to go right into Nguyen, overpowers him, but the layup is too strong off the glass, and Sargent gets the rebound. Sargent looking to push, no numbers, driving baseline, behind the back dribble, fall away from 5, too strong, and a rebound taken there by Myers. They'll push up to Leia, bounce pass in transition, layup coming from Pavlik as he finishes off the right block, and Milpitas able to beat you in transition. Nguyen, another 3, opposite corner, air ball. Sarvon pokes it out of bounds as it will be Milpitas basketball, but the last 2 possessions, very quick for both teams. Not great shots, but the Trojans able to beat Santa Clara down the court and get a layup.
Yeah, and that's been a theme for them tonight offensively, is their ability to get out in transition. They know exactly where their lanes are offensively. They make smart passes and good decisions in the open court. That's credit to the coaching staff.
Here is Leia. Almost lost the handle, now drives, handoff Myers, pump fakes, gets Burns in the popcorn machine, but cannot finish the layup from the left block as Burns pulls down the rebound.
And it was a great pump fake by Myers, knowing that Burns has been aggressive on the glass and shot blocking all night.
Into Sarvon, left block fall away jumper. Barnechea tips it, Burns comes up with it, second shot opportunity isn't there. Burns gets his own rebound and finds Sargent up top. They'll reset now, Santa Clara with the left-hand dribble. There is Bayog gets it, poked from behind by Leia, but comes up with the steal on the other end as Saria tried to go to Leia running in transition. Here is Burns, 1 dribble, baseline right block, and it gets stuck in between the rim and the backboard, and that's going to be a jump ball to Santa Clara with 1:43 to play, 34-26. Again, it was a 10-point lead at one point here for the Trojans, but after the Nguyen 3, able to cut it down to 8, and Santa Clara with a big 1:43, Spencer, try to get back into this game.
And a fortunate break there for Santa Clara because it looked like Sargent got away with a travel earlier in that possession. The Milpitas bench was calling for it, but they did not get it. But also, they're lucky Burns wasn't able to score that. He had an opening on the baseline of that zone. That's not a spot that Santa Clara has attacked a lot tonight. They've got 2 talented, skilled, athletic bigs in Sarvon and Burns as the officials are working something out. But I think that Santa Clara, against this 2-3 zone, which Milpitas has gone back to after a little stint in the 1-3-1, I think they have to utilize Sarvon and Burns and their ability to keep the ball up high and rebound and be physical presences inside, and that's typically utilized in a high-low action. Both of them are skilled enough in passing, I think, where they could do some real damage.
So 1:43 to play. We finally get the call. It's a jump ball, and it will be underneath to Santa Clara. 26-34, Milpitas on top. Santa Clara trying to cut the lead down. Here's Burns inside, and once again goes up right as he catches and gets fouls. Nathan Burns, a leading scorer, leading rebounder of this team, and he's been leading in those categories tonight. Yeah, he has, and once again, he's just bigger and more athletic than whoever is guarding him. On that case, I think it was Myers. No, check that, it was Ridley, and just not enough to be able to contain Burns. They're just throwing it up to him. I mean, that was the inbounds play. It was, hey, Nathan, go get in the middle. We're just going to throw it up to you. You're going to catch it and go up strong, and that's not a bad game plan when you have a kid as athletic as Nathan Burns. So Burns goes 1 for 2. Sarv on the rebound off the second free throw. Putback is off the back iron, and so an opportunity there for another three-point play, but it is unsuccessful for Santa Clara. 34-27, down 7. Milpitas going right to left. Trojans looking to stay up top the SCVL El Camino division, as here is Saria, who had 10 in that first quarter. Down low, they move it to Ridley. Ridley from the right block, left it short, and the rebound taken by Sarvon. Santa Clara will push. And Sarvon at the other end has struggled getting tips to go in after having some success offensively
early in this game. Santa Clara is going to need him to get it going if they're going to win this one.
Here's Burns, right block, turns, gives it to Nguyen near corner. Nguyen will bounce pass over to Sargent, looking down low for Burns, and it's a tight window. They get it to him, and Burns will pick up another foul against Milpitas. This one looks like it will go against Lee Ridley, the 6'4 junior, and it's underneath out of bounds for the Bruins.
And Nathan Burns is just too much to handle right now for any of the Milpitas bigs, and he is a presence down there.
Sargent thought about a deep three up top. Instead, they'll move it to Bayog. Touch pass down low. Sarvons and 4 guys touch the ball in about 4 seconds for Santa Clara, and it's a 5-point lead for Milpitas. 40 seconds to play here in the first half.
And that's how they've been beating the zone, and right there is the high-low action.
Here's a 3 right wing coming for Vivas. And Dante Vivas, the 5'10 junior, knocks it down. Big 3 there for the Trojans. Here is under correction. That 3 was by Borjal for Milpitas. As here's a steal in transition by Nguyen. They get it over to Burns. Burns is doubled. They find Sargent up top. Sargent, the leader of this Bruins team, down by 8 here as there's 6 seconds on the clock. Gives it right wing. They try to go to Burns. Stolen away there by Ridley. It goes out of bounds to Santa Clara with .4 on the clock.
And Bayog right there forced that pass into Burns because that's where it's been successful. But credit Milpitas defensively clamping down, making that adjustment, and not allowing Burns to have any kind of space. They've been tight passing windows all night, but right there, it was too tight to make a pass.
1.4 seconds, 29-37. They throw it up to Burns. Burns tips it. Borjal comes down with it, and that's the half. Is huge right now because you're looking at a difference between a 5-point and an 8-point game.
Absolutely, and I mean, it felt like Santa Clara was starting to get a little bit momentum. They got the bigs going on that possession right there. It was a great high-low give and go between Burns and Sarvon, and it felt like they were starting to make a little bit of a comeback, but you hit it. It was a big 3 at the other end by Borjal to give the final piece of momentum going into the half, favoring Milpitas, who hold on to an 8-point lead. But if anybody thought that this game was going to be a blowout, Santa Clara had other ideas. Looking for a fresh, rich, Sicilian-style pizza? Come check out Pomodoro Pizza, 6932 Almaden Expressway, San Jose. For your ultimate pizza experience, stop by today or any day of the week. For more than 4 decades, no construction company ranks higher in award-winning projects such as school, nonprofits, and high-tech campuses. Enhancing and enriching our community, look no further than Block Construction. For more info, go to www.blach.com. That's www.blach.com. Make sure you stay tuned for the Central Coast Sports halftime show and our next CCSB broadcast, which will be next Tuesday, February 12th, when Bellarmine takes on Mitty, streaming live on YouTube Live, 7:15 pregame and 7:30 tip. I'm Spencer McLaughlin. I will have that game for you as Bellarmine goes to take on Mitty.
Well, we're at halftime here, ladies and gentlemen. Our score, 37-29, Milpitas Trojans on top of the Santa Clara Bruins. Time now for our Block Construction halftime spotlight, donating countless amounts of money and volunteer hours to provide critical services to charities and people in need. For more information, see their website at block.com. That's BLACH.com. Well, we're going to do some Central Coast Sports Committee predictions for the CCS playoffs. Spencer, 5 days from now, the Central Coast Sports Committee will determine the brackets for 2019 basketball playoffs. Tonight, Spencer and I will act like we are on the committee and provide the Central Coast Sports playoff predictions for the Open Division, the D1, the D2, and the D3. To begin, there are 2 changes to note this year before we get into our predictions. 1, no longer a limit on the number of teams from any enrollment division heading to the Open Division. So, for example, you cannot limit 4 SCVAL teams from going into Open. Any team from any league can qualify, and once again, all Open Division teams, as well as D1 through D5 finalists, qualify for state. So when you qualify for Division 1, you're automatically able to play, or Open Division, you're automatically playing in the state tournament. And number 2, condensed playoff schedule, which I think both of us has felt here. Quarterfinals now being held Tuesday, February 19th, about a month earlier than they were last year. So teams are starting to have to play 3 games a week a couple weeks out of the year. Milpitas on their 3rd game this week. And the top 4 seeds will play at home sites for the first time since 2007. And only the semifinals and championship games will be played at neutral sites. Well, let's start with the Open. Here's our outlook for the projected seeding. Number 1, Midi leading the WCL. Number 2, Sarah. Number 3, Reardon. 4th seed will be Bellarmine. Coming at 5th is Menlo Atherton. 6th, Leland. 7th, Mountain View. And 8th, St. Ignatius. And we expect for the 3rd consecutive year the WCL to dominate the opening division field with 5 schools participating, 4 of them being the top 4 seeds. But as for the 3 non-WCL schools, Menlo Atherton, Leland, and Mountain View, each have an inside track for those berths within the open division. The 5th WCL team has the 8th seed for the last 2 years, so that will probably happen again. But based upon schedule of strength, St. Ignatius could easily be seated ahead of Mountain View and Leland, but the committee is expected once again to put that 5th WCAL team in the 8th place spot. Spencer, what are your takeaways from our predictions here, winners and losers, as the committee looks to make their final selections within the open division?
I think for all of these teams going into the playoffs, at the end of the day, your seed doesn't matter. It just really, it doesn't matter where you're the 2. You know, if you're going to get mad about, oh, we should be the 3 and not the 4, or we should be the 5, not the 7, wins on that night that you play is going to win out. But the last 4 spots could come down to the final games of the regular season. Right now, our projected number 8 seed, St. Ignatius, is in a similar position to the one Midi had to deal with last year. The St. Ignatius Wildcats have to finish with a 500 overall record just to qualify for the 2019 playoffs. Their final games are at St. Francis and home versus Sacred Heart Cathedral, so they'll need to win those games. A loss Saturday on the road versus St. Francis would allow the Lancers to slip into the Elite 8 instead. So definitely some big games with playoff implications coming around for the SCVAL. The loser in all of this is the Mountain View Spartans. They have a great record. They're 18-4 in their first place in the SCVAL Deanza division, including great non-league wins, most notably against St. Mary's Stockton. But a loss at Palo Alto on Monday and a loss to St. Francis back in December could be a detriment. That particular loss in December to St. Francis could allow the Lancers to leapfrog Mountain View for a possible spot within the open division. But, you know, even with a good team like Mountain View, when you have those kind of glaring losses, and this is, of course, a great debate in college football, bad losses can really stand out. So we'll see if they're able to overcome that with the great season that they've had. However, the St. Francis Lancers would need to upset St. Ignatius on the road on Saturday to really solidify their case for the open consideration to possibly bump Mountain View out. Another scenario that could knock out the Spartans from an open invitation, the selection committee could opt for the Pacific Coast Gavilan leader, the 18-4 Carmel Padres. So the Spartans need to run the table and keep their fingers crossed. The winner, another winner in all this, is Leland. They've had a great season, 20-2 in the BVAL. They're the Mount Hamilton champions. They need to run the table to present the overall record, including non-league successes, to prove the Chargers are worthy of the open invitation. Another winner is Menlo Atherton. They were 20-3 this year, the PAL South champions. They're the only projected team with a real shot at taking one of the higher seeds away from a WCAL team. Tight non-league games versus WCAL opponents Bellarmine and Midi, who are 2 of the top teams in the WCAL. Despite missing 2 starters, was Menlo Atherton, could help power their record in the eyes of the selection committee. But to revise just a little bit what I said earlier, obviously getting into the playoffs, then it matters for seeding, right? Obviously. But once you get there, it doesn't matter. You just got to get there by any means necessary. It doesn't matter if it's pretty, if it's ugly, if you deserved it, if you didn't. Once you're there, you've got a chance. And that team that you're playing on that night, you don't have to have been better than them for an entire season. In a basketball tournament, you have to be better than them for one night.
And that is what Santa Clara is trying to do tonight, defeat Milpitas and be better than from one night. As we get our D1 projection seating, number 1, we're looking at Carlmont, number 2, Piedmont Hills, 3, Palo Alto, and 4, Cupertino. Coming in at 5, Alisal, 6, Independence, and they'll host a couple of semifinal and final games there. Sequoia at 7, Homestead 8, Los Gatos coming in at 9, Alvarez the 10th seed, Milpitas the 11th, and Evergreen at 12. Well, the opening round games, if our projections are right, Los Altos will be playing Alvarez, Salinas will play Milpitas. At Santa Clara, here we'll play Evergreen Valley, and Watsonville will play Los Gatos. Spencer, from seeds 6 down become the most intriguing. What are your takeaways as the committee looks to make their final selections within the Division 1 CCS playoffs?
For the teams that are, kind of on the edge and, they need to win here and have this team lose or win out and do all this, you can't let that get to you. Yes, it's going to be in the back of your mind, but when you go into a game, you cannot put that kind of pressure on yourselves of, oh, we got to win this game or else we're not going to be able to get to the playoffs. You have to be able to put that aside, focus on the team in front of you, and really take it one day at a time and do your best to try to win the day and then worry about what comes next after the fact. Because at the end of the day, each of these teams has to take care of their own business if they're going to get into the playoffs.
And for Division 2, as we get our seating here, St. Francis at 1, Valley Christian at 2, Lee at 3, Willow Glen at 4, Wilcox coming in at 5, which is an interesting seating there. Argonne at 6, Branham at 7, Pioneer at 8, Christopher at 9, Sacred Heart Cathedral at number 1, Monterey at 2, Soquel at 3, Hillsdale 4, Saratoga 5, Sobrato 6, Aptos 7, North Monterey County at 8, Mills 9, Westmont 10, Parejo Valley at 11, and Burlingame at 12. Well, let's get set here for the second half. 37-29 the lead for Milpitas High School as the Trojans will inbound. It will be Saraya inbounds over to up top, Tumbler. Tumbler crosses the timeline with the left-hand dribble, now hands it off to Barnechea. Barnechea, they swing it around to the right wing to Ridley. Pump fake there by Barnechea, and the left block gets a man jumping, but left short the layup. Rebound falls right back to himself. Myers swings it over to the left wing. Tumber has it. Tumber swings it to Soraya. Soraya moves it to the right wing over to Ridley, who finds the cutting Tumber for an easy 2. And right away, Coach McLivery is going to call timeout.
Yeah, and Coach McGilvery not happy with his defense because that's not the first time they have seen that look tonight from Milpitas. I mean, credit head coach Champ Rencher for Milpitas. He's had some excellent play designs tonight, and right there, they move the ball around to one side, and then as they're moving it back, there's action on the backside, a back screen, poor communication by Santa Clara once again, freed up Tumber for the layup, and it's just great execution by the Trojans.
So 29-39, 10-point lead for Milpitas, as walking it up will be Sargent. Sargent crosses the timeline, right-hand dribble, moving right to left. Has it in between the rings, dribbles, and bounces it down low left block to Burns. Burns fumbles it originally, gets it back as they move it back to Sargent left wing. Sargent goes into the paint, finds the cutting Bayog, back to Sargent near side. 16 to shoot here for Santa Clara. They move it to Ramos in the corner. Once again looking for the cutting Bayog, tipped behind from Tumber. And here comes the Trojans the other way. Tumber walks into what he thought about was going to be a 3. Now drives to the baseline, gives it over to Barnechea. Barnechea rip through, going baseline, turns, fires from 5, off the front of the iron, and rebound taken there by Sargent.
And Santa Clara, when they have the ball against the zone at this end, they've got to do a better job moving the ball around quickly. That's how they had success in the first half.
Saraya with a nice deflection there as they were trying to go to Ramos into the corner. Here's Barnechea, left wing, 3 ball off the front of the rim. Rebound, Myers looking for it, and coming up with it there is Ridley. Another offensive rebound for the Trojans.
And that was a problem for Santa Clara in that first half, and we've got a timeout on the floor. There's an injury here for Milpitas as Trevon Myers is going to check out of the game. But for Santa Clara, like you said, the offensive rebounds have been an issue in the first half, and they're continuing here in the second half. But offensively, They just don't have the spacing or the movement that they did in the first half when they were having success against this 2-3 zone. They're just too crowded and not spreading out that zone enough. So we'll see if they can make those adjustments offensively.
Tumbler finds Leao up top as Myers checked out, as you mentioned. And that's something to look for because now you got a big body that is subbed out, and we'll see if Santa Clara is able to find more offensive production down low. So here is Saria. Tries a three from the right wing, and once again, a triple for number 25. Give him 15 on the night, and it's a 13-point lead with 5:52 to play here in the third.
And something I wrote down on my notes for Milpitas were threes, and he has been the go-to guy, has Sharia.
Here's Sarvan, a nice catch and turn off the glass from the near block. Just a pretty move. 24's got 6, and it's an 11-point lead for the Trojans.
Sarvan and Burns do a great job of shooting the ball quickly and keeping it up high.
Here's a three, Tumbler, right corner, and another one for the Trojans. Aaron Tumbler getting his first points of the night, and it's a 45-31 lead. Right now, Santa Clara trading twos for threes. Bayog looking for somewhere to go, and a kick ball there for Tumbler as the whole Milpitas bench is asking for 3 in the key.
Yeah, and they probably should have gotten it. But if I'm Santa Clara, I got to be thinking the Milpitas is not going to hit threes at this rate for the rest of the game. So keep running your offense through Burns and Sarvan, which has been their most effective way to score the ball tonight.
Here is a pass down low. Sarvan from the right block this time, and another deuce. And the presence of Myers coming out has allowed 4 easy points for Irnez Sarvan.
Yeah, and he's the tallest guy on the court. The next tallest is probably Nathan Burns, his front court partner. So, again, Santa Clara should look to utilize that advantage.
33-45, 12-point lead for Milpitas. Barnechea moves it into the far block extended. Shot coming from Ridley is an air ball from 15, and it will go out of bounds to Santa Clara.
And now if you're Santa Clara, you got the stop. You're down by 12, but there's no need to go for a 3 on this possession. You need points after you get those stops. That's obviously how you make up that type of deficit. And they've got the bigs at the high post right now, and they're running some high-low, and that is exactly what they should be doing.
Ramos up top, left wing. Burns catches it outside the three-point arc. Up top to Ramos. They move it to Bayog now on the right wing. Bayog turns, finds Burns at the right block. Taken away there by Tumbler. Tumbler drives, hands off. Sarea, 3-ball, left it short, and rebound taken there by Burns.
And it was a great steal by Tumbler at the other end, recognizing the high-low action coming from Santa Clara.
And Bayog throws it away, looking for Sargent up top. Just sails it to the left of him, and a tough turnover there for Santa Clara. 3:55 to play here in the third, 33-45. The lead for the Trojans is checking out of the game will be Tumbler.
And just not a necessary turnover there. Bayog wasn't under any type of pressure as Ramos checks in favor of him, the sophomore.
Here in the corner is Leia. Leia dives on the court after losing it and finds Leia Leao. Leao gives it up top over to Ridley. Driving, fires from 15 and gets fouled. Just pump faked with the defender behind him. And it will be 2 free throws here for Lee Ridley.
And Champ Rencher is glad he got that foul call, but I think a little bit more of well, I think he's really glad because it was not a great shot there by Lee Ridley, bailed out by the Santa Clara defense. And when you're trying to come back from a deficit, which is now 13 for the Bruins, fouling is the last thing that you can do because you're giving your opponents easy points. You have to make them earn it and get as many defensive stops as you can.
So 2 down for Ridley. Averages 11 points per game. So far has 8 on the night. 3:35 to play here in the third. 47-33, the lead for the Trojans. Up top, Ramos gives it into the left wing. Checked into the game is Vivas. Now back to Ramos, right wing Burns. They run this little 2-3 rotation as they get 2 bigs inside. Burns and Sarvan now inside. They'll move it to the left wing to Sargent. Sargent, left-hand dribble. Back to Ramos in between the rings. 10 to shoot here for Santa Clara. Gotta go. Ramos straight on with 6, with 5 to shoot. Goes off a screen, fires a deep 3 off the side of the iron. Rebound fought for as it will go out of bounds to Santa Clara. Both referees calling it for the Bruins. And with 3 minutes to play, down 14, The Bruins will try to take it side out of bounds and cut into this deficit.
And they are very fortunate to be getting the ball back right now. That was a deep, not a great shot there for Ramos, but he shot it out of desperation. But what they're doing with their high-low action right now is they rotate 3 guys between who goes to the high post, who goes to the baseline, who goes to the wing, which leads to bigs being on the wing from time to time.
Here's Ramos. He'll try from the right wing, left it short, and Barnechea with the rebound. Barnechea will bring it up the court, crosses the timeline, yet to score here in this second half as Ramos almost picks his pass. He was trying to go into the right corner to Borjal, and a good anticipation by number 2.
And like I was saying at the other end, you want your bigs working at the free throw line and in, but rotating them out on the wing is not where either one of them is most comfortable, nor where they have been most effective tonight. And then you put a guard down low trying to match up with someone like Trevon Myers.
Burns takes away Myers' pass. Here comes Vivas the other way. Right to left move the Santa Clara Bruins. Down by 14, 2:30 to play here in the third quarter. Here is Vivas, right corner. Ramos floats it down low for Burns. His layup is an air ball, but Sarvan will take care of it on the left block. And we get a timeout here for Milpitas. So the bigs have been the life of Santa Clara for this third quarter, although Milpitas still leading by 12. 2:25 to play here in the third, 47-35. The Trojans on top of the Bruins.
With a coast-to-coast footprint of over 300 U.S.-based production sites, you can see why Vulcan Materials is an essential part of our country's makeover, including road and bridge repair, construction of not only the best in today's country music, but offering the best in local sports. KRTY is the South Bay home of the Golden State Warriors, as well as a great partner with Central Coast Sports Broadcasting for high school sports in the South Bay. For more info, go to their website, krty.com. Also, outfitters of Nike, Under Armour, and other national brands. There's only one team with the best supply network in high school athletics, BSN Sports. Give John Gillette a call today at 408-209-6433 or check their website, bsnsports.com.
Well, here come the Trojans going left to right, up by 12, looking to add more. Chance here for Milpitas to put a dagger in this game with a big 2:15, try to make it a 20-plus lead. Here is Barnechea from the free throw line, and he has been money from mid-range. Another deuce for number 1, and it's 49-35, 2 minutes to play here in the third.
And specifically from the free throw line, that has been his money spot, and he's found his way there all night long.
Here is the right wing. Driving is Sargent. Milpitas wants to travel. Instead, they'll get a foul call, and it'll be 2 shots for Sargent.
And they should have gotten a travel. That was at least 3, if not 3.5 steps there by Sargent, and bailed out there with the travel call and the missed shot. So Santa Clara in danger right now of letting this one get away as they desperately need these points at the line.
Sargent rolls home the first free throw. His first points of the second half. He has 10 on the night. 36-49, 154 to play here in the third. As the senior guard on senior night buries the free throw.
No doubt about that second free throw. He walked away knowing it was in. It went nothing but net. That is confidence right there from the senior.
Here's Barnechea, left wing dribble, pump fakes from 18, now given over to Lealau, but it goes right through his hands, out of bounds, and a turnover by Milpitas. So
and just a careless turnover there by Lealau as the ball just kind of slipped through his hands. It wasn't a bad pass or too hard for how far away he was from Barnechea. He just let it go through, and those are the kind of breaks that Santa Clara needs and has to take advantage of.
Up top, Vivas has it. In between the rings finds Sargent. Sargent dribbles with the right hand, hop step, and now gives it to Vivas right wing. Holding the ball at the waist, takes a couple dribbles, finds Ramos in the corner, right back Vivas, dribbles inside and goes outside to Sargent. Sargent takes 2 steps in the lane, layup, air ball, gets his own rebound, must have been tipped, and puts it back for 2. Sargent with another deuce. He's got 12, and it's a 39-49 lead for the Trojans.
And I think Trevon Myers was the one who got a hand on that ball and allowed Sargent to get his own rebound, even though it was an air ball.
Barnechea from 15 again. This one ricochets off the side of the iron, and Burns comes down with a big rebound. Vivas will push right wing. Minute to play. Down 10 is Santa Clara. Vivas from the right elbow, off the front of the iron, off the backboard, and drops home. Dante Vivas with his first points of the night, and it's an 8-point lead here for Milpitas.
Santa Clara is finishing this quarter strong, under a minute now. They cannot let up here in the final seconds and let Milpitas regain any of the momentum.
Up top, it's Barnechea trying to go backdoor, finds Myers from 18, ticks the front of the iron, and Vivas another board. Vivas holds it above his head, gives to Sargent an opportunity here for the Trojans to make it a 6-point ball or a 5-point ball game before the end of the third quarter, but there's a steal in transition. Here's Ridley looking into the corner. Leia has it. 16 to play here in the third. Barnechea, left wing, dribbles baseline, running out of real estate, follow-away jumper from the block, and he puts it home. Tough shot there for number 1.
Sargent's got to see the clock.
Here is the driving Sargent at the buzzer, off glass, and puts it home. So Sargent saw the clock, took your advice, and grabbed 2 points. 51-43, 8 minutes to go here at Santa Clara High School as we get set for quarter number 4, and a quarter in which Santa Clara started off struggling, I think, Spencer, but able to come out on a positive note, only down 8.
Yeah, absolutely, and a big bucket there by the senior Sargent. Like you said, taking my advice and recognizing the clock, hit a tough shot, quite frankly. He had to get by his man, split a double team, and then was able to hit an off-balance floater. But, really, if you're Santa Clara, you have to feel good about that quarter, getting the deficit down to 8. I know Sargent on the previous possession offensively for Santa Clara would have loved to have that pass back because that was a chance to get the deficit down to 6 or even to 5, and then they had the turnover, but being able to respond right there is big to keep it under 10 as we head into the 4th. Entering our 10th year with the most live coverage high school sports in the area, we are Central Coast Sports Broadcasting. Big shout out to our broadcasters and sponsors who continue to give back to our community with the best in high school athletics. For the latest updates and scheduling, check out our website, centralcoastsports.live. You can also follow us on Facebook at Central Coast Sports Broadcasting. Time now for the Green Waffle in-game summary. You already know about the Green Waffle, and really it has been fast break points for Milpitas and trying to beat the zone for Santa Clara.
Ramos in the corner, 3-ball right wing off the front of the iron. Burns, big rebound, he puts it back. Grabbed the ball above his head and just kept it there on the putback, and it's a 6-point ball game to start this 4th quarter.
And at the end of the 3rd quarter, Burns had a couple of outstanding rebounds, keeping Milpitas off the glass. He has been crucial tonight, as Tom McGilvery told us he might be in the pregame.
Myers looking for Tumber, and it is knocked out of bounds there by Vivas. But as you mentioned, back to a 6-point ball game. Burns did not score in that 3rd quarter, but I think played an instrumental role in that comeback for Santa Clara. Trojans trying to ward off the comeback. Here up top is Tumber. Tumber gets the play call, takes a screen going left from Myers. Now will drive into the lane, lost the handle out of bounds, but it's last touched by Vivas, and it will be Trojan basketball with 12 to shoot, up 6.
It might have been last touched by Vivas, but I'm not too sure. That ball didn't go straight off of Tumber, and he just lost the handle. Milpitas fortunate to get that one.
Here's an inbound. It's off the back of the inbounder as they give it up top. Saraya, 3-ball goes in and out from straight on. And Ramos fighting for the rebound, fell out of bounds with the ball, and Trojans get a fresh 35.
And a heads-up play by Tumber inbounding that ball. All the Santa Clara defense in their zone had turned around. I think he threw it off the back of Nathan Burns and then just came in himself. He was unaccounted for, and that created an opening for Shariah to get the open shot.
So here is right wing Tumber looking for the backdoor layup. Gets it to him at the rim, blocked away by Burns. Knocks it away off the glass, and Santa Clara will bring it up.
Swatted away is the word that you're looking for. That was a massive block by Burns.
Here is a turnaround jumper. Sarvan, first shot isn't there, but the second shot drops home, and it's a 51-47 lead for Milpitas, 6:47 to play.
Once again, the bigs of Santa Clara are dictating the game offensively. That has been their most consistent source of good offense.
And taking a timeout there is, it looks like Tumber, as he was doubled, just took a timeout, as he's going to take a full timeout here, 51-47. Big time block from Burns. Sarvan finishes at the other block, and those two names have been the key here for Santa Clara, as they're 4 points, as they are in this one with 6:38 to play.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I mean, if I'm head coach Tony McGilvery, keep feeding the bigs. I mean, Milpitas has proved incapable of stopping them tonight, and it's been very consistent down low. Even when they're missing, they're getting good looks. So I think if you're Santa Clara, you got to keep going to it.
And for Milpitas, the key, I think, what worked for them really in the beginning of the third quarter, getting out in transition and beating Santa Clara before they could set up their offense. Let's see if they go back to that here in this final 6:38.
Published quarterly for 30 years, don't miss the combination of business and lifestyle articles that affect the agricultural industry. Pick up a copy of Coastal Grower Magazine today or subscribe via coastalgrowermag.com. And Carlo hit on it just a moment ago. The best source of offense for Milpitas in this game has been fast break, but with Santa Clara going on this offensive run, it's harder to get into that fast break transition offense off of made baskets.
Saraya up top finds Barnechea. Barnechea dribbles to the free throw line, his favorite spot, and moves it over to Myers. Back to Barnechea, left wing, takes the dribble, jumper from 18. It does not drop home, but he'll pick up a foul, tick the front of the iron. And so Barnechea will get 2 at the free throw line to extend the 4-point lead with 6:19 to play.
And I think right there, Barnechea shot that one because he didn't shoot the first one. He was more open when he came off at the right elbow, and I think he kind of realized he missed his chance, so he came off that screen from Myers and thought, oh, I gotta get a shot. I should have shot a moment ago, and he took a contested one. Lucky to draw the foul there was Barnechea.
Barnechea missed the first one short. Second one is all twined. With 6:10 to play here in the fourth. Ramos up top, Viva skips it over to Toledo. Toledo driving to in the big bodies. Layup in the lane, doesn't drop home, but Sarvon the rebound. Ramos deep 3 left wing, ticks the front of the iron. Toledo fighting for it, gets it on the ground, and we are going to have I don't know, it looked like Toledo was asking for a timeout. Instead, there's going to be a foul on the Trojans. So it'll be Santa Clara ball underneath, fresh 35, and this looks like a energized team here, Spencer, for Santa Clara.
Yeah, it is. They are getting after every loose ball. Foul goes on Shariah right there.
So here up top is Ramos. Ramos with the ball, looking for somewhere to go, gives it over to Vivas, right wing. Vivas into Ramos, into the corner, back up top Vivas. Far wing, dribbling with the left hand, rolls up the middle and finds Toledo into the corner. Ramos has hesitated every time on that 3, and for the first time tonight, Sarvon will be called for the 3 seconds in the key, something Milpitas has been begging for since the opening tip.
Yeah, Milpitas assistant coach was the first one to stand up, start clapping, turn around and to her team and said, finally, that she was able to get that call. It probably was long overdue. Sarvon and Burns have been camped in the key several times tonight.
So 5:30 to play, 5-point lead for Milpitas, trying to add more. Down low, here is Ridley. Turnaround jumper inside the paint. He got the body position and gets the easy 2. Lee Ridley's got 10 off the bench for the Trojans.
And a tough shot there from Ridley. It was contested by Sarvon very well.
Inside, it's Vivas. Up top to Toledo. Left wing, Ramos. Back to Toledo as they move it around the horn. Up top, now Toledo to Sirvan, right elbow. Skip pass over to Ramos near side. Now it's under the right wing, Vivas. 9 to shoot here for Santa Clara. Gotta go. Toledo to Vivas. He'll take it baseline against Barnechea. Now looks for the skip out. 3 to shoot, 2 to shoot, throws it away. And here is Saraya in transition. Up against Ramos, gets fouled. Layup off the front of the iron. And the referees are asking for an Milpitas is asking for an intentional. And one will not be called.
They wanted a flagrant, actually, and I definitely did not see that on the play. I mean, it was clearly a foul. You know, you definitely could have made an argument that Shariah was shooting when he got fouled, but to suggest that was an intentional or a flagrant, I do not agree with that at all. It was a foul for sure because there was plenty of body contact, but nothing brutal or terrible.
So Milpitas calls time here with 4:43 to play in the fourth, up by 7. They've gone, only 3 points have been scored since 6:30 to play in that fourth quarter.
Authentic quality dishes with local ingredients, a uniquely seasoned crust, and prepared fresh daily. Pomodoro Pizza in the Almaden Valley, a great place for great food on game night or any day of the week. 6932 Almaden Expressway, San Jose, or click the website pomodoropizzaalmaden.com. So I do think Milpitas got gypped a little bit on that foul call. I thought for sure Shariah was shooting the ball, but they just have it out underneath.
So Myers now gives it into the corner. Barnechea, first three of the night, rolls around and out. Rebound fought for, and it's going to be a foul, and it's going to be on Santa Clara. No, they're going to put it on Myers. Myers going over the back. Good call there, Spencer. And it will be Santa Clara basketball. 4:36 to play here in the fourth, down by 7.
And it was a good call by the officials, too. He came right over the back of Burns, who had great box-out position once again, and he just got too much of the arm.
Sargent to Burns near block. Drives in, looking for somewhere to go. Gives it into Toledo. Right wing three. Buries it. 3 ball coming from Giovanni Toledo, as it is a 54-50 lead for Milpitas.
And Toledo doing a D'Angelo Russell, ice in his veins, staring at Barnechea as he came back the other way.
Here's Myers, floats it down low. Barnechea, layup, right block, left it short. Sarvon has it poked away from him on the rebound, but Burns comes up with it. Burns to Toledo, chance now to cut the lead in half for Santa Clara.
And Champ Renter, head coach of Milpitas, has gone back and forth between a 3-2 and a 2-3.
As a pass from, it looked like Bayong was trying to go down low to Sarvon. That one was tipped out of bounds, and it will be underneath. 3:46 to play here in the fourth. 4-point lead for Milpitas. Milpitas with a win remains tied for first place in the SCVAL, while Santa Clara, a young team, looking to defeat Goliath here at home.
The far corner was wide open. Oh, there it is.
Toledo in the far corner, but nothing there for him. Up top, Sargent has it. 13 to shoot here for Santa Clara. Gotta go. Toledo just hit the 3, has it. Now gives it to Sargent. Sargent jabs right, drives, layup from 5, puts it home. Gianni Sargent with his 16th point of the night, and it's 52-54, 2-point lead for Milpitas.
And the senior on senior night showing up. That's another tough runner in the lane at a tough angle and off balance as well, and he's energized this crowd.
Serrara drives left alley, too strong on the layup. Myers the rebound. Myers has it poked away by Sarvon. Ball on the deck being fought for, and it's going to be a jump ball, and it will be Milpitas basketball.
And great effort there by Toledo. Myers came down with that rebound. Burns had gone for the shot block on the other side, so it looked like Myers was going to be open, but Toledo wasn't having it. He recognized it immediately, ran from his zone position on the far side, took the ball away as Myers brought it down low. That is tremendous hustle and awareness from the sophomore, Giovanni Toledo. Also, just a 5'5" sophomore taking on the 6'5" Trayvon Myers. That's an impressive play there from the young man.
And Toledo had one of those plays earlier, which he was able to pick up a foul on Soraya. So underneath, out of bounds, 3:04 to play here in the fourth. 54-52, the lead for Milpitas. Barnechea will take it out, finds Ridley, cutting to the rim, and a pretty play call for Coach Renscher, and an easy 2.
And once again, the out-of-bounds plays on the baseline have been tremendously effective. That's the 3rd time tonight they've yielded a layup for Milpitas.
Toledo up top, gives it in to Sarvon, looking down low for Sargent. That pass in through a lot of traffic, ball on the deck. Soraya comes up with it, but gives it right away to Bayog, and there's some extracurricular shoving and pushing at the end of that one, as we're going to get a warning on Santa Clara.
I don't know what they're calling right here.
11 seconds to shoot. I think it is the question whether the shot clock reset.
Yep, that's what they're discussing. But I am surprised Tumber was not at least called for a foul, because Bayog was on the floor and right in front of the official. He kind of stepped over him and then used his arms to push him down to keep him on the ground for another moment. I mean that should at least be a personal foul, if not a technical. I'm not sure how the officials missed that.
So trying to inbound it here will be Sargent, looking for somewhere to go, throws it in and finds Toledo. Milpitas screaming for 5. Here comes Toledo, left block. Fresh 24 here for Santa Clara after the change of call. Here's a pass, down low Burns, right block, turns, faces, fires from 5, left it short, Sarv on the rebound, second shot opportunity, and the foul. Irnez Charvon with his 14th bucket. He'll go to the line to try to make it 15 and a 1-point game here with 2:19 in the fourth.
And Sarvon once again on the offensive glass. He's been everywhere tonight. I don't know if he's even come out of the game, but once again doing an excellent job keeping the ball up high and away from the Milpitas defenders, and just the strength and awareness to find that rebound, snatch it, and finish with the and one.
And the free throw is off the back of the iron, too strong, as Toledo once again gets in there and forces a jump ball. The sophomore Giovanni Toledo, third straight hustle play here in the fourth, and it will be Santa Clara basketball.
And just tremendous hustle by Toledo once again, taking it away from a big of Milpitas. And Santa Clara, the players, the bench, the student section, everyone is fired up right now, and we have got one heck of a basketball game, and it is getting feisty on the court.
2:15 to play, down by 2 is Santa Clara. Their first lead as they turn it over on the inbound. Bayog was looking to go to Burns, and just an easy turnover there for the Milpitas Trojans. Here's Myers going down low, position there for Ridley against Burns, and another layup. Lee Ridley has 6 points here in the fourth, 14 on the night. They have all been big buckets. Just under 2 minutes to play. 4-point lead here for Milpitas. Sargent hands it off to Toledo. Toledo in between the rings. Finds Sarvon, trying to go down low, almost stolen away. Sarvon comes up with it, and layup from the left block, jacks home.
Sarvon realized the moment he threw that pass, it was going to get stolen, followed it, and got the ball back off the deflection. Is tremendous.
Has it at the right elbow, 19 to shoot, spins back middle, jumps in the air, finds the cutting Myers. Myers at the rim, too strong on the layup. Ridley comes down with the rebound, and they're going to call the whistle is blown, and they have a travel. Travel's going to be called on Ridley, and with 1:15 to play, down by 2, it will be Santa Clara basketball.
On your ride home, make sure you turn into the Central Coast Sports post-game show. Not going to fill too much time here with the sponsor reads and what that was an incredible sequence. The crowd anticipated the miss. Ridley, I think it was the right call by the official. It's a tough one to make, but it was the right one to make in that situation.
1:15 to play, 58-56 on top is Milpitas. Here's Toledo, dribbles up the court, finds Sargent left wing. Sargent looking for Burns down low, gives it up top to Sarvon. He'll throw to Burns. Burns jumps in the air, gets it up at the right block, and he ties us up at 58. Here comes Tumbler, has it right block. Rencher has timeouts if he wants to call them for Milpitas. Barnechea, right wing, 45 seconds to play. Goes off a screen from Myers up top. Now has it working against Sargent. Goes left side, straight on, looking for somewhere to go. Pass is tipped, and Bayog gets the steal. Sargent will bring it up. About a 1 second difference between shot clock and game clock. Santa Clara with the ball.
You've got to pull this out and hold for one.
Burns has it down low, goes up from the right block, not able to drop home. Sarvon could not grab the rebound as they give it over to Tumber. Tumber crosses the timeline and has it on the far wing. Being watched by Sargent. No timeout here coming from Rencher. 9, now 8 to shoot. Barnechea driving in the lane, lost it on the deck. Here's a jumper coming from Tumbler, and he buries it. Tumber from the left corner. The ball was on the ground. He scooped it up, shot from 18, and he puts down the deuce, and that's the game.
Well, Santa Clara is seeing if there's any time supposed to be left, but I don't think there would be to get a shot off anyway. So last night, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics game ended in an almost identical fashion. On the left side of the court, there's a scrum for the ball. A guy is in the right place at the right time. Last night for the Lakers, Rajon Rondo. Tonight, Aaron Tumber for Milpitas. He collects it, turns and fires a fadeaway 20-footer and nails it. I mean, it was a chaotic sequence, but at the other end, they're not going to put any time on the clock, so the game is over. But at the other end, Santa Clara had the ball, a 1 second difference between the shot and game clock. And they attacked. They had the opportunity to get the final shot right there, and they passed it up. Burns got a good look down low, But that's the risk that you run when you go early. When you have an advantage like that, you want to use the clock to your advantage, but Santa Clara didn't take advantage. Milpitas did, give them credit, and they're walking away winners tonight.
Yeah, Aaron Tumbler, the man of the game, only had one other bucket before that game winner and able to defeat the Santa Clara Bruins 60-58, our final score here from Santa Clara. Well, it's time now for our Central Coast Sports post-game show as we try to wrap this one up on what was a crazy night here at Santa Clara. Our next CCS broadcast, don't miss it, Tuesday. Should be a good one. Number 1 seeded Midi against Bellarmine. YouTube Live, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 tip. Final score here, 60-58, the lead for the Milpitas Trojans, who improved to 10-1 on the season, remain in first place, and just need one more win to grab the SCVAL El Camino Championship. Let's give a special thanks to all our sponsors: Netafim Drip Irrigation, Gonzalez Irrigation System, Coastal Grower Magazine, Block Construction, BSN Sports, Pomodoro Pizza, Vulcan Materials, Kevin Moore, Arnie Van Massenhausen, and the Green Waffle. Big shout out to Santa Clara High School for their hospitality, Milpitas High School and the SCVL for their support, and also to 95.3 KRTY, San Jose's Hot Country. Not only bringing you the best in today's country music, but offering the best in high school sports as well, as being the South Bay's home for your Golden State Warriors. Thanks to Nate Deaton, Nicole Woodson, Jamie Paul. For more information, go to their website at krty.com. Well, as Spencer runs over and tries to get Tumbler in an interview here, we'll see if he'll do it as he has to go back with his team. We'll see, he'll be our player spotlight here, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going to run back to the interview table, and Spencer grabs him. So Spencer will come and interview.
And joining me now on the broadcast is the man who hit the game winner, Aaron Tumbler. Aaron, this was a hard-fought game on both sides. It was getting chippy at the end. Take me through that last second sequence. What happened?
I see my teammate JB going to the corner, so I started drifting. And then I came, and the ball went loose, so I got it and shot it. Basically it.
Well, Aaron Tumbler, the man who had the game winner, what does this win mean to you and your team?
One step closer to getting 20 wins and going to playoffs.
Well, there you have it. Aaron Tumbler, the man who hit the game winner. Aaron, thanks for coming over. Get back to your coaches. Don't yell at me afterwards. Well, that was Aaron Tumbler, the man who hit the game-winning shot as time expired. I mean, what a hectic sequence it was.
The ball you fell on the ground. We couldn't really see who picked it up from where we are on the vantage point. And next thing you know, Tumbler's falling away and throwing it up as the buzzer expires, and he puts it home.
I mean, we didn't even see. I couldn't tell where the ball was exactly. There was such a mad scrum on the floor. I thought we were going to go to overtime because I didn't see how the ball was going to get out, but it squeaked out, and Tumbler, like you said, he just saw the ball. He went to where it was, found it, and shot it, and he clearly struck gold. So, big win there for Milpitas, obviously, and a pretty crushing loss for Santa Clara as well. But, like we mentioned, Tony McGilvery and Santa Clara, they've got a really young team, a lot to look forward to. In the coming months with their season whenever it starts next year and the rest of this one as well. But, I mean, this is the top team in the SCVAL, and they're competing with them, with all these young guys. They're only going to get better. I really like Sarvon. Well, Sarvon is graduating, but Burns is a tremendous player who's coming back. He's still a junior. They've got a lot of young guards, so a lot to look up for if you're the Santa Clara Bruins.
Yeah, Santa Clara, first time they played this Milpitas team, fell down 12-0, really never had a chance, and then lost by 15. Tonight, they're with them the whole game, able to force and tie it, and then just do not able to complete the final sequence. Once again, we talked about they had the ball, they had the last shot, decided to shoot one early, and Milpitas made them pay. Well, tonight, our blockbuster player of the game, I'd love to pick somebody besides Aaron Tumbler, but I don't think I can. Although he only had 5 points, he had the biggest 2 points of the night, and that will wrap up tonight's game. Well, our next CCSB broadcast Tuesday, 2/12, Bellarmine against Midi, YouTube Live. Don't miss Spencer, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 tip. Final score one more time from Santa Clara. The Milpitas Trojans defeat the Santa Clara Bruins on a buzzer beater from Aaron Tumbler, 60-58. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.